Hello, my name is Sean Posey. I am here for Homeplate. It is September 2nd, 2016, and we are on South Champion Street in downtown Youngstown in front of the Soap Gallery for the opening of the Flickr Friends Show. This show is being put on to bring together photographers from the Flickr online photo network, from the Mahoning Valley and beyond, for a wonderful show of first-class photography. I'm here with Steven Pus, one of the co-owners of the Soap Gallery and one of the minds behind the Flickr Friends show here. I've known Steve for many years now, and he was actually one of the first people that I met on Flickr. How long have you been on Flickr, Steve, and how did Flickr influence your career, if you will, as a photographer?
I believe I've been on Flickr for 8 years now. I think since 2006-ish, somewhere in that range. It's influenced me because it's given me the ability to look at good photography and develop a good photographer's eye. So you're able to see things in perspectives that good photographers are able to see it, and then in turn learn how to almost mimic that craft and develop it.
I know you're putting on this show, but what is your own personal work like? Could you tell us, what's your style, and has your style influenced the way that you look at art now that you're involved with, being an owner of an art gallery?
Yeah. My style probably has evolved over the years from being more decay to more artistic and abstract. I've really come to really love photography that is not just one subject matter, but has layers to it and complications to it. And that, in turn, appreciating that has helped me appreciate paintings and sculptures and different other types of art form, because it is much more abstract than a single image.
And how did the Flickr Friends show come about? Where'd you get the idea from to do this?
Well, when I first started an art gallery, it was one of the things that I wanted to do, was to be able to say that I have all of these friends that I've met online in a community. Everyone that I've met from Flickr, I think there's at least half a dozen artists in this show that are from Flickr, from around the country and around the world. Everyone I've met has been fantastic. They've been great. We've clicked. I've had people from Ireland. I've had people from Santa Monica come all the way out here just to photograph with us. And I wanted to take what that online community was, and it's curated online and curated in a physical spot, and what better to do it than here in Youngstown.
Okay, we're here with Liz Cooper. Liz is a very interesting photographer, somebody who combines portraiture, dance, and also landscape, usually urban landscape or industrial landscape, and I think she's a really wonderful addition to the Flickr Friends show. Liz,
thank you.
How did you find out and get involved with Flickr?
Actually, a friend on Facebook, Diane Beatty, recommended that I enter. She and I have been shooting together for a couple months now after I decided to pick up a camera. And she and I just talked about it, and she said, I really think you should enter that because it's something where your pieces could be showcased.
So had you been on Flickr previously?
Yes.
Now, you were a dancer and not a photographer initially.
No, not at all.
How did you make the transition from dancing to photographing dancers?
Oh, that's a good question. As an educator, I teach at Jones Dance Academy in Mineral Ridge. I do a lot of portraits and a lot of action pictures and videos of my students while they're performing, while they're dancing, taking class, rehearsing, so I can critique them from that. And from there, I just started thinking, there's a lot of interesting things that I'd like to combine with my hobbies and my employment as well. So I took one of my senior dancers and we did a photo shoot, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
So if somebody is from Youngstown, they're really going to recognize a lot of the places in your shots, and some of them, unless they're an urban explorer, they're not going to recognize. So how did the industrial landscape find its way into your portraits of dancers? Because I don't think a lot of people would make the connection.
Growing up in the Rust Belt, having a family on both sides that either worked in a mill at one time, worked in the auto industry. My dad still works in the steel mills. It just has always been a fascination of mine, and having just a blue-collar family and being a local history buff, it was something that I thought, this is different. Nobody does this type of stuff, and the contrast of the beauty of the dancers to what I find beautiful in the urban landscaping and the industrial sites just makes for a really interesting blend.
So are you mostly shooting dancers this day, or have you taken it to also shooting only landscapes?
I'm doing a little bit of both. There's moments where I'll just stop the car and say, oh, that's a really cool shot, let's take that. My son is always an object of a lot of photography that I do, but I am branching out, but my heart lies with the dance portraits.
Do you have any photographic influences, photographers or photographs that have inspired you personally?
I'm a massive fan of Jordan Matter out of New York City. Ansel Adams and his black and white classic. I mean, how do you not like all that? But I'm learning. It's all a new quest and just an interesting journey to go on.
General fireproofing up on the north side. That was the abstract piece that I chose to put in there. And then one was of Market Street, just a black and white night shot of Market Street, and the other was of a abandoned grain silo in Buffalo, New York.
So would you say that the landscape shot of Market Street, this kind of interesting detail shot from an old abandoned industrial complex, and then this real kind of close-up artsy shot, in my mind, I don't know about you, would you say this kind of represents your style?
Oh, absolutely. I like to have a wide variety of style. I don't like to contain myself in one box and just stay there. I like to, there's so much, when you're in an abandoned building, you might see a really, really cool wide open space that's just breathtaking, the lights coming in, but then you'll see like a rusty screw that's just, it just catches your eye. So, big, small, it doesn't affect how interesting the subject could be.
What would you say is the importance of Flickr here locally? I know that's how I met you. I'm pretty sure that's how you met Steve.
Absolutely, yes.
How did Flickr kind of bring together a lot of different photographers and artists in the Mahoning Valley?
Flickr was great because it was able to bring people together. We had this online forum where people of similar interests could find one another. I mean, before Flickr existed, I probably never would have met you unless I happened to run into you in an abandoned steel mill, and chances are we probably would have went separate ways. Flickr, that's probably the biggest impact Flickr has had, is just being able to communicate and meet people, like-minded people that share your same interests. Because you're not going to meet a lot of people that like to go into abandoned buildings in the Rust Belt and take photographs.
Certainly not randomly.
No, absolutely not. And if you do run into them, chances are you probably didn't want to run into them before.
How do you feel you've grown as a photographer or changed as a photographer since you first got on Flickr?
I think just going on Flickr every night, looking to see your pink stars and comments and see which one of your friends posted. Just searching Flickr, you could find so many different styles, so many different takes. Flickr also, we got to see pictures that people from Canada came down to the Rayan School and took photographs. And you were able to get this perspective of places that we even went and just see different styles and different takes on the same thing that you get to see and live around every day.
How long have you been into photography?
Off and on for maybe the last 10 years. I really got into it about 2 years ago. I got a decent camera that I could take some serious pictures with, and I really liked it.
Have you gotten a chance to use your photography or your camera while you've been out on assignments?
Oh, yeah, lots of times. There's a difference between shooting news and just shooting for yourself, and I had some good teachers at the Tribune and at the Vindicator, too, so I've taken lots of pictures for work.
So you've picked up stuff from the photographers that work alongside you?
Yes.
How has your work been influenced by your job? How did you, when you were starting out in photography, what kind of things were you shooting, and has it changed over time?
Well, with my job, because I cover police for the paper, I'm all over the city, so I go to a lot of different neighborhoods. I grew up here. I'm drawn to a lot of the different homes. Some of them a lot of them are vacant, but some are just the older style homes. And then as I shot the homes and stuff, I started to focus more on people, especially when I would be out and about. Those are my favorite pictures to take of people. But I like taking nature too.